Hello, folks. Susan here. Want to talk about time, and a day with God is 1,000 years here without God. So let us go back to the beginning, the book of Genesis. I'm going to read to you from Genesis, from Peter, from the book of Revelation. And so here we go. I just want to make a point to you. Okay. Revelation 20. This is coming from Bible Gateway, and it's from the King James Version. Revelation 20. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Okay, so let's go to Peter. This is Peter, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. But do not forget this one thing, dear friends. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. I'm going to read it again. But do not forget this one thing, dear friends. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. The meaning of Emmanuel means God with us. With us. So back to the book of Revelation. I read Revelation 20, 1 through 2. 1 and 2. I'm going to read it again. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him one day. I'm going to continue reading. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. I'm going to read it again. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the day should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. I'm going to continue reading. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and a judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. And they lived and reigned with Christ a day. Now, with this, Revelation 20 verse 4, we have to remember that the mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, it's not the same as the seal on the foreheads. So I'm going to stop here. I hope you caught that I swapped with Christ 1,000 years for with Christ a day. Because remember, do not forget this one thing, dear friends. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. Okay. I'm going to go and read Deuteronomy. Okay. 11:18. Fix these words of mine in your hearts and minds. Tie them as a symbol on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. And this is talking about the tefillin that the Jews use on their foreheads and their hands. But for us Christians, we need to have these inside our minds and hearts. With a transformed heart, you don't need a tefillin because it's already in you. Okay. I'm going to read from the book of Revelation. Do not harm, this is Revelation 7:3. Do not harm the land or the sea or the trees until we put a seal on the foreheads of the servants of our God. Revelation 9:4. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any plant or tree, but only those people who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads. So I'm going to go back to Revelation 20, beginning with verse 5. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. I'm going to read it again. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the day was finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Now read it again. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him a day. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan will be loosed out of his prison. And when the day is expired, Satan shall be loosed and out of his prison. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night, forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened. Books, plural. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. Tree of life, book of life, tree, two becoming one, bread, two becoming one, stick, two becoming one, staff, two becoming one, two people, Judah, Joseph, coming together as one people. We have two witnesses, Elijah and Moses. Two. We have the Father and the Son coming together through faith in the Spirit. 1 equals 2, 2 equals 3, 3 equals 4, 4 equals 5. We're one ahead from the inside. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was found written in the book of life was cast, and whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Book of life, tree of life. Two becoming one. Two people. Jesse, Judah. Us, Gentiles, coming together. Jesse, us. Jesse, us. Jesus. Tree of life. One. Two people. Judah, Jesse, David, Jews. From the stump, the tree that was cut, a shoot grew. And the bow of Judah is bent and filled with Ephraim. Ephraim, Joseph. Joseph, Ephraim, and Judah become one. Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel write on one stick to Judah and the Israelites associated with him. On the other stick write to Joseph and to the Israelites associated with him. And then God says, I will come back and I will take that stick which is in the hand of Judah and that stick which is Joseph and is in the hand of Ephraim, and they will become one in my hand. One body, one temple, one church, one people, united by faith regardless of our religion. Our books coming together because we will be judged by one God. Two people coming together. One tree. One bread. One temple. Restored. To restore our Eden here on earth as one people of God. With Him. God with us, Emmanuel. 1,000 years is like a day to God. One day. This is the hope. And God has given us dominion. Genesis 1:26. Then God said, let us make mankind in our image and in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. Genesis 1:28. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground. God did not say, rule over men. God specifically said to mankind, men and women, male and female, let us make mankind in our image. See, God made Adam from the dust of the earth. God's spirit was hovering over the water, which was dark. It was dark in the beginning. the Spirit was hovering. And God made the light. And He separated the light from the darkness. So God made light. God made life. His Spirit was hovering over the waters. And He made mankind from the dust of the earth, Mother Earth, dark womb, water. God, Father and Mother, He made us. He made the earth. Let us make mankind in our image. This is a marriage between God and us. Let us make mankind in our image. Mother Earth, from the dust of the earth, the fertile earth, He made the first Adam. He gave him dominion or rule, permission to subdue it. The fish, the birds, and the living creatures that move on the ground, in its environment, which is our environment. And this is the food that we eat. The birds, the fish, the animals that live on the earth that we consume. We have the power given to us by God to control these things and to remove bad things which should have never been there to begin with. He's giving us permission to restore our Eden with God. Emmanuel, God with us. 1,000 years is like a day. It can be done. He didn't say, I give you dominion over other people. So, for those of you nations engaging in oppressing your own vulnerable, your own women and children and elderly and sick and wounded and mentally unstable, mentally ill, and you're physically ill, just remember, pull out your books that God gave you in your language and in your religion and read it for yourselves. He didn't say you have dominion over other people. He is a God of freedom, not slavery. He has opened up the water for us. And we, as stubborn children of God, go back to slavery out of fear of other men. In the Bible, in our books, it specifically says, do not trust another man. Fear God only. I hope that I have clarified something tonight. And we will see Elijah and Moses and Jesus. For Elijah and Moses are the two witnesses. And two peoples, Judah and all the Israelites associated with them, with him, and Joseph and Ephraim and all of the Israelites associated. Just the Gentiles. We, two people coming together, we will be witnesses. Two peoples. We will be witnesses to God. And it will happen soon. In all of this, in the book of Revelation, that you think is going to be so long, it's going to be done in one day. I love you. May God be felt and seen here on earth.